Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Digital and Retail Technology to Support the Student One Card Experience. I'm John Ogle, Membership Experience and Education Director for NACU. Joining me today from Agilysys are Jamie Hodgson, Vice President of Sales, and David Bain, Sales Engineer. Jamie, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome.
Welcome. Great. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to how the dining and retail technology supports the one card experience at the campuses, and kind of our experiences along the way, and how we can help kind of answer questions in terms of building out what is out there, what can be out there, and kind of building the perfect plan for how you look forward. So for today, we just want to make sure we talk through a lot of different things. We really want to understand about the students, right? That's what this all boils down to, is making sure the students, I say lightly, taken care of, but in some ways, making sure that they have all the opportunities to, use their one card to have a proper meal at the times that they're looking for it. And how does the technology enhance that experience? I always look at it as we're the enhancers. The technology enhances the experience. Hopefully the food, is the show, right? Where the kids go in, they want to have a certain type of food. They're looking for a certain thing. How do we enhance it? And so that's really some of the keys that we work on, is making sure that enhancement is done correctly. Next slide, David. So for the agenda for today, first one is what's the hospitality solutions on campus. David's going to walk us through kind of what's out there, what's available, kind of what we've seen, and kind of what our company offers, and so forth. What to look for. When you're building out a new platform, what are the key things that need to happen? Key things you need to look for in terms of making sure that you hit those things? Like I said, the students, the parents, the faculty, how do you make those things all work together within your environment? How does the total solution come all together? Some of the hardware options, sometimes hardware becomes secondary, but as we have found, and I'm sure many of you on this call have found, hardware can be a differentiator. Now we've moved kind of in the way of mobile in some ways, that people go, well, maybe hardware is on its way out. I don't think it is. I think hardware is here to stay. There's always a place for the hardware. It's how you place it, how you put it in your facility, how you use it and utilize it. So I think that's very important. Things to consider, and then a couple of examples of deployments that we've had that have become very unique for us. So one of the first things that we do is look at the campus as a whole. There's a flow. You guys are the experts. You guys know the flow, how things work. You know how the flow works from a dorm room to a venue, to the cafeteria, to an auditorium. But how does that flow of the students work, and how do you take that to understand what is important? So if you look at this map, this is kind of how we've started out some of our conversations, because we want to be, we think it's very important to be a consultative in these approaches, and truly understand what are the pinch points, what are the pain points when it comes to enhancing that experience, tying into that one card experience and making that experience better for the students. So there's a lot of different things on this screen, a lot of different moving pieces on here. But if you look at it in a way that you've got the middle, you've got the dining room, you've got a kitchen, it all starts from the student experience, the faculty experience, and things like that. So if you take a look at this picture holistically, you kind of understand what that flow is. And then from there, as David will walk through, you kind of back into what is important to your campus. Because what we found is that every campus is different. There's no one campus in the United States, North America, that does things the same. They're all completely 100% different. Where you may walk into one site and go, we've done this, and they'll go, no, we don't have this. We've walked into campuses where they won't touch mobile. The administration does not like mobile, and they will never use mobile. So then we've got to backtrack a little bit and go, okay, if you're not going to do that, here's 3 other options to go in this direction. So you have to look at different ways in terms of how to manage the space that you have. in terms of the functionality of the space that you have and so forth. So what to look for in a provider? I think there's a lot of key components in that. There's a lot of different things to look for. There's, obviously we're all looking for best in breed. We're looking for who does the best out there. There are a lot of different companies, and you could break it down into, let's just say 4 categories here. You could take a look at inventory procurement. You could look at the point of sale. You could look at a kiosk, and you can look at mobile. There are best in breed out there for every one of those. That maybe a mobile provider only does mobile. That's all they do. That's all they focus on. That's all they work on. But is that the best fit to have 4 different pieces of software within your facility? Even though they're best in breed, is that the best use of having 4 different reports, different functionality that doesn't tie together? So that's really important. Is that key? Is that best of breed? The total solution. Really, what we mean by that is really having the full scope of the product. And in upcoming slides, you'll understand kind of what that total solution means and what things to look for. But the integrated products. The number one integrated product is the campus card. There are many great companies out there that do campus cards, but that is 1A in terms of what needs to be integrated, because that is the driver. That campus card is the driver. That's where everything is kept. More than just declining meals and board plans and things like that. There's so much more now that can be on a campus in terms of that card provider. That's what I thought, the card provider. So there's a lot more in there that can be in there. Do you want to be on-prem or cloud native? And just quickly, on-prem, you manage all the updates. It is completely up to you as a provider, or do you want to be in the cloud, which is all managed by the software technology, and they could do it for you. And at the end of the day, it's got to be user-friendly. It's got to be something that can be easily trained on, because you have repeat staff very seldomly. You have new staff every year, new school year, new semester, over break, whatever have you, but you've got to have something that is very easy, very quick to train on, that somebody can just jump right into there and really understand the process and how it works.
Thank you so much, Jamie. So I'm just going to dive in a little bit on the total solution and just kind of what we mean by that, right? Jamie touched on this a little bit. There's tons of providers out there, like he said, some do kiosk, some do point of sale, some do online ordering. Really being able to have one singular place to do that is going to allow you to be able to manage that a lot easier and be able to facilitate that, right? You don't want to have to be managing 4 separate systems on your campuses, changing menu items in 4 different places. Having one core solution for those systems is key to being efficient. So just kind of some of those things that you would think about and that we've seen as we go through the market is, of course, the POS, right? That is the heart of the food and beverage transaction with the campus card. Kiosks, we've been seeing this more and more. Kiosks are becoming more prevalent as self-service dining continues to grow. And what kiosk options are out there available to you guys, different form factors and different workflows as well. We've seen many different workflows, and being able to handle those different workflows of what you need for your students is important. KDS. So where do all those orders come into? Do they all come into one singular printer and kitchen display screen? So how do those, so you're able to manage all those orders as they come in quickly, easily, and efficiently. If you're using separate systems, you'll be having separate systems for how it comes into your kitchen as well. So really being able to streamline that with a one total solution is very important. Then mobile web, how does that integrate, with your one card solution? Is there a single sign-on so it makes it very easy for them to be able to check out within that mobile web? Are they able to do reordering? Are they able to have a seamless user experience that really fits, the need of your campus? Digital menus, is another product that we have seen be successful. What that you're able to do, unlike the mobile web where you're not ordering from there, maybe it's the parents can go in and see, that you're offering, good food solutions for them, for their students, anytime they want. They can go in there and see the menu. And if that menu is integrated with, your mobile web, then you're not having to show that menu in two different places as well. And payments, really picking a provider that gives you the option to use your different payment gateways and leverage, what you already currently have on campus for your gateway or for your payment provider, and having the availability to be able to use who you want, as opposed to being locked into maybe somebody that a company might push on you. Loyalty and promotions is actually something that we've seen that's been growing in this space. Just really the look there is to be able to add, push healthy options on students. If they choose a healthy option, are they able to, decide that I'm going to get extra points for those healthy options? We also do have dining reservation software. So we've seen campuses that do take reservations. Maybe they have a tea room or something like that, where you're going to want to be able to make reservations and be able to account for those. And all these things, right, you want to have integrated to your point of sale system. So again, you have that one single source of truth. And then once all those transactions come in, right, you have your analytics. What analytics software do you guys use? Who do you want to have it integrated with? Are you looking for a singular platform that can encompass all of those things as well? And who can you integrate on that? And then your inventory and procurement. So as you're selling those products, where are they depleting to? Who are they integrated with? To make sure that they have a nice, strong integration with that. So just to kind of dive in a little bit more on some of those products, point of sale, we think it's very important to have a highly scalable and configurable point of sale. You never know what you're going to want to be able to do on campus, how you're going to want to meet that student's needs, right? Is it going to be in concessions? Is it going to be in the middle of the quad? Is it going to be in multiple different areas? You want to have the flexibility with having multiple terminal types or form factors to be able to meet those students' needs. Jamie kind of touched on this a little bit. Are you an in-house system? Do you want to be hosted or do you want to be on-prem? Do you want access to your database to do, to be able to have direct database access? Or do you not want the need to have to, have your own IT team manage that and have a nice hosted solution? And most importantly, is that solution on modern technology, right? Is it on modern APIs that is going to be able to grow with you as you grow on your campus? What different platforms are you able to use with that? Is it Windows? Is it Apple? Is it Android? All those things are important as you think to grow and as your needs will change moving forward. And the biggest thing with the point of sale is the campus cards integrations, right? How does that campus card integration work? Are you able to see the student's picture? Are you able to do inclining balance, declining balance? Are you able to meet all of those student needs at the point of sale or any one of those features? And do those integrations, is that an offline integration? Does it work offline, or is it need to be online all the time? Because we all know these days the internet is very stable, but there are times when you might not have internet. So what can you do to be able to still cater to your students in the times that there is no internet? We touched on the ease of use. Again, ease of use really just talks to the speed of service. The easier the system is to use, the better speed of service that you can be able to provide to the students, less friction, so that they can really just be delighted with their experience and the food. And then what sort of operational efficiencies are you looking for from a point of sale provider? Do you need to be able to do board mode, whereas they can walk through and be able to swipe their card and it's just tallying one meal as they're walking into an all you can eat? Or do you need to be able to have conversational ordering to be able to take their order when they're ordering from the grill station? Do you need to be able to have the flexibility to switch a terminal from being a actual point of sale terminal to being a kiosk? All these things are important as you're considering what you're going to do with your point of sale solution and how you're going to meet the needs for your students. And with that comes the self-service ordering. So once you have your point of sale, how does your self-service ordering work? Does your menu items and pricing, is it synced with your POS? Again, we're talking about that total solution. Very important so that you're not having to do the double the work there. Does their student have a profile? Are they able to save, their most liked menu items and their modifiers, how they like their coffee? Can they just hit that reorder button? Are they getting a text notification or an in-app notification? Does the solution integrate with your possibly your app so you can have a single sign-on, a single experience for that student? Will you allow, ordering now or schedule ordering? Are you going to be changing menus online and having those roll over? And how will that interact with your point of sale? Are you going to have to manage those in two different places, or is it work in one separate place as you're changing your menus for daily specials, etc.? And then really on the fulfillment, how are you able to fulfill those orders that are coming through? As we go around the market here, we see mobile ordering is getting used more and more. So you need the ability to be able to throttle that ordering, be able to set time slots on that ordering, really just to balance the employee and operational workload. And then after self-service, we can go to the self-service kiosks. Kiosks are something that have really become more and more prevalent as we have seen within the university workspace. And having those different options of kiosks of how you want to meet them, whether it's the large wall-mounted or stand-mounted kiosk that you walk up to and you're able to interact and really draw the student in, or is it a short like cafe that you really are worried more about space, that you need to condense a kiosk that they can be able to use? And again, same things. Items and the menu pricing, is that syncing with your point of sale? Do you have a singular place to go and do all that reporting? Can you take all the different student card payments on the kiosks? Can you do, the inclining balance, declining balance? Can you do split payments as well? If, they only get a credit for $10 and they want to pay the rest on their credit card. And how they're able to receive that order, how you're able to fulfill it. And then also one thing that we've seen more and more is, the ADA compliancy. Does the kiosk allow for ADA compliancy in a low visibility mode with a nav bar? These things are important as we move in the future. And then once you have all your different outlets there, whether it's, online ordering or your kiosk or your point of sale solutions, how are you taking those payments? Are you using credit cards? Of course, you're using your one student card. Are you allowing for split tenders? Can they initiate all these things directly from in their app or on their phone? Is there a single sign-on, that they're able to do that with? Just again to eliminate some of that friction, and really, who is your gateway? Being able to pick who you want to be able to be that operating partner for your credit card company as well. Then once you've paid for those orders, how does your kitchen operations manage those orders, right? How does that come in? Does it come in through a KDS? Does it come in through printers? Do you have the ability maybe in a coffee shop to have the tickets print on a sticker so that you could stick that name right on the label of the coffee cup? How is those orders routed? Where does the coffee go versus where does the breakfast sandwich go? And then how are you communicating back to the student, when they're going to be able to get this order? Are they receiving a text message to be able to know that their order is ready for pickup? Is there order status displays that the student can look up to as they wait and see where their order is in line? Um, and very importantly, is that all on a single platform, right? Depending on if it's the online ordering, if it's the kiosk ordering, or if it's a POS ordering, is that all coming in through one channel to make your operations very seamless and easy to run? And then once all your orders have come through, we're talking about analytics. You know, what as far as your analytics, what are you able to see as far across all your outlets, all your spend, what items are being sold, your product mix, what guest insights are you getting out of those from your students? Can you see, you know, what most of the students are spending, where they're spending, how they're spending? And are you able to set up, you know, different dashboards so you can be able to see all that data and be able to act on it very quickly?
So
And
just
then
go back there
loyalty.
for a second. David, can you go back for a second? So I'm curious, just a question out to the group, and if you want to type it in. Are colleges, are you guys using analytics? Is there a demand for analytics out there to understand the ordering of students, the timing of things, or is it you already know the rush is going to come from 11:30 to 12:30? How is that being monitored and registered within the current environment? Don't be shy. All right, be shy. Well, if you think of something, let us know. I'm very curious on because we see this analytics tool very powerful in some of our other lines of business, especially like business dining, healthcare, things like that, where sometimes it's an irregular amount of flow of traffic. And this kind of helps kind of with labor, what's coming in, when to shut things down, especially like it also works in concession stands and so forth. So I'm just curious of that. So David, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And then once you have all those data analytics, how are you able to act upon those, right? And the next thing would be to do with, you know, loyalty and promotions. So you're able to take those analytics, able to say, hey, you know, we want to send more people over to a certain location on campus. We want to get more revenue coming in through there. We want to balance out our revenue streams. One place in campus is, you know, overloaded and has a line all the time. How can we really drive traffic elsewhere? And that you can, one of those ways that you can do that, and we're seeing requests for this more and more, is with the loyalty program and being able to promote those different locations and create targeted offers. Having different tiered programs, you know, just like all the major businesses, food and beverages businesses do out there. Everybody has a loyalty program these days. Why wouldn't a campus have that for their students as well? And then being able to have a portal so I can go in there, see, you know, what my balance is, how many points do I have, what can I redeem? And like I said, one of the ways to be able to also increase health is to be able to use a loyalty program. Maybe they earn more points via on their loyalty program for healthy items. So that's one way to drive, you know, items on their menu being able to be purchased and being consumed. And then does your loyalty program integrate with the point of sale data so you're able to see, you know, like I said, the total spend of what they're purchasing, be able to have the menu items, be able to drive sales on individual menu items. Jamie, it looks like we did get a response there from Javan. If you want to go ahead and read that. I think you're on mute.
All right. The question on the analytics came back, comment came back. The information is very valuable. Currently, right now, being monitored by basic reports and really not a deeper analytic level. So the analyze piece can really do something like that. Very, very, very deep. It's a very cool product.
Thank you for that comment. And of course, you know, as items are being depleted through a point of sale all across your different campuses, how are you managing that via inventory? Uh, and not only for food and beverage, but I mean, this could be for wares, for really anything that you're counting, whether it's cleaning supplies, etc. Is that all under one base use, so that you're able to have one place for reporting, one costing center? Do you have warehousing? Are you able to, you know, build items in one major warehouse and sell them across to through your different profit centers? What are the recipes and the menu management for that, different price levels, pushing that out to those different point of sales. And then as those items are depleting, what you're purchasing and receiving, are you doing it to one singular site again, and then warehousing out to everybody else? And as you're bulk purchasing, you're able to say what my cost is and being able to do better costing and theoreticals on what you're able to know what your cost is going to be for your sales. And then with that, you know, where you're going to be ordering from. So as prices are constantly changing, you know, during a time of inflation, who has, you know, the best price on limes or tomatoes this week might be different from next week. Using a program that can be able to help you analyze that and analyze all the different vendors that you use and find you the best price for those tomatoes is important. And again, like I said, using that perpetual inventory, whether it is, you know, food and beverage, retail, supplies, equipment, being able to have that all under one single piece of software can save a lot of time and headache from trying to balance out what your total cost of goods is there. And having that just be automated, right? Not having to be able to go in and pull reports manually, but being able to send reports out, whether it's to accounting or to management or to ownership, whoever needs to be able to see those reports, and it doesn't have to be manually run. So just before I get into hardware, any questions on what we look for or what we've been seeing on any of those products that we talked about? If I jump back a couple slides here, I'll just go over to the full view. Anything that you guys have seen or that I may not have covered, maybe here on this total solution?
I think the one thing, David, that you'll see that for the group, we won't get into robots at any time soon. So something we'll stay away from, but because there's a lot better companies out there, and that's something that I know is becoming very popular in the higher ed world is StarRez and companies such as that. We work with them, we integrate with them in terms of the ordering systems and so forth, but we know where our lanes are at, and it's not in robots traveling around campuses. So that's kind of that best in breed we talked about earlier. We understand where we can play, and we understand where others are playing, and we're willing to work with any company out there in terms of that. So, and I know there's other examples, but StarRez seems to be I shouldn't use the company, but just you know, the robots, things like the delivery robots.
Jamie, we have a good question there. What solution is growing the fastest as an extra feature and add-on?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's the mobile ordering is probably still hot for us as a company, and I think for the industry, for the world. You know, the time we had a few years ago kind of projected all of us forward quickly, and we've just have continued to ride that as much as we can to the point where our normal sprint cycles on products, technology-wise, is I think it's every couple months. For our mobile product, it's every month, because we are continually enhancing the product, and a lot of those enhancements come from customers. And it's not only in the higher education field, but from our hotels, our gaming, our business dining, our resorts, whatever, are driving that product. So that one right there is driving the fastest. And the beauty with that product is that it's tied very closely to the left there, the kiosk. So in terms of software platform, they operate together as one platform. It's not two separate platforms. So anything we do in the mobile web, a lot of that technology will flow into the kiosk. So you're 86ing an item, and you can it 86s across the entire platform. And that's something that came from the web, because what was happening was students were ordering, something from a class, and then if we were out, it wouldn't get transferred over to the kitchen quick enough. So we had to institute that really quick to make sure that that even though they weren't close or on the kiosk, we could 86 the item quickly. So that would be the best one.
And then it looks like you had a
So
follow.
any feature that is,
Yeah, you got it.
yeah, any feature that is unexpectedly more successful with customers and makes an impact, efficiency where teams can see an ROI to impress management. I like that one, to impress management. I think, I would touch on the analytics tool that David touched on earlier. That one definitely, because like I said, and David, you want to drop that slide in here really quick that you had. I personally was a former operator before I started selling into the software world, and this tool, I see this tool, and this would have made me, this tool and eTech would have provided my bonus every single year, hands down, because I can't control the number. I used to manage football stadiums, for instance. I can't control everybody buying a beer and a hot dog, but I can control the cost. And that's what the analytics did, and that's what eTech would do for me. And those two items right there, I know hands down would have got me my bonus every single year, even if people didn't drink that second or third beer at the concession stand. So this one's very, very important, I think. And it's nice because it ties into the InfoGenesis, the point of sale system, the kiosk, the on-demand. It all ties together as one. Hopefully, I answered the question there.
Yeah, just to add a little bit to that as well. I mean, one thing that we have seen is really a big drive towards self-service. Self-service does provide a huge ROI, being that there's not a cashier or someone having to be clocked in to be able to take their order there, whether it is a kiosk or whether it is, online ordering. And that does add a lot of efficiency to your kitchen as well. Having those orders streamlined and how those managed orders come in. As Jamie said, we are constantly developing our online ordering product. Where it comes to throttling and how we're throttling how the students come through, how they're receiving that order, whether it's, a text message, whether it's a food haul, I'm getting a message over here, I'm getting a message over there to go pick up my pizza and go pick up my salads at another station. Really a lot of tools that can be done within the self-ordering platform to increase ROI and efficiencies within your operation there.
Good question. Thank you, guys.
So just kind of wanted to touch base here. I think it's also important, as Jamie said, hardware is not going away at any time of what you're able to do with hardware, just because you need a platform for the students to engage with or for your cashiers to engage with. And what you really want to look for is flexibility in that. Because as I said, different things will need different workflows, or depending on the environment that you're in, the amount of space that you have, really what you want to be able to have is a system that can really meet your students everywhere and in every way that they need to be met, right? So just kind of different kiosk options and POS options that are out there, whether it's a table standing point of sale, or a kiosk that's a table standing or freestanding or wall mount, depending on space constraints, what availability you have there, and what flexibility do you have to be able to implement the way you need. And with that also comes mobility. How how mobile am I? Am I, in concessions, I need to be very mobile, or if maybe I'm on campus, selling out of a kiosk, rolling kiosk, I can need to be very mobile as well. Maybe some of you guys have golf courses or things like that, where you also need different mobility options to be able to meet the students' needs. So in turn, just some things to consider, as you're considering what you need for your different universities out there. What's your overall vision, right? What are you really looking for? How do you think is going to be best to decrease that friction with your students, increase revenue with those different locations, really having a good oversight of like a fine-tuned vision of what you're looking for. Which profit centers are you looking to, maybe change over, modernize? Maybe you had a standard cafeteria and you want to switch it more into a food hall type of a concept. Lots of different things to think about there. As you're modernizing, what options are going to be offered, right? You definitely need to have your one card solution. Are you going to allow for faculty charges, a system that can be able to account for those? Are you going to be taking credit cards in certain locations? Are you going to be taking cash? Is this a time maybe to go cashless depending on your state regulations? A lot of times we've seen that cash really isn't even worth taking these times with the amount of loss that there is in taking cash. It's just more of a liability than anything else. There's a couple other things on here, right? How are guests going to receive their receipts? What fulfillment options are you going to be able to do for your students? How are you going to manage those? How are you going to throttle those? How are they going to be notified that their order is ready, from those customer facing screens to text notifications, email notifications, or even in-app notifications within their student app? And as you're also modernizing, I think a thing of the past before was kitchens really were all ran on Foley paper. Is it time to really consider a KDS where you're saving on, not only saving on paper, but that allows that interaction between you and the student to let them know once it's bumped off that kitchen display screen that their order's ready. And then with that, of course, being able to get your marketing involved. How are you going to present these offerings? What sort of colors, images, item descriptions, calorie counts, tags, or allergens on there are you looking for? So really quickly, I just kind of want to jump in, give you a really quick demonstration of just one thing you might want to look for is flexibility. I'll share my other screen here. So this is just a terminal running in our board mode. This allows for a single, sorry, let me share. There, there it goes.
You go.
It's a second
Always
click
makes me
in.
nervous when we try to do this.
Yeah, it's a second click in Zoom. So just the ability to take a board mode. This is when students are coming through, single pass, all you can eat dining. They're able to come in, swipe their card, and hit enter, and it's going to show if that student's good to go or not, being able to print off where they're at if they want to. If a student is not good to go, being able to quickly see that they're not good to go, and it's depleting those as they come through. Maybe a student comes up and wants to do a balance inquiry. They can quickly switch over and be able to do a balance inquiry as they swipe their card to see what their meal count is there, and be able to have a printout for them. And then maybe a parent comes through with the student and the parent is not able to deplete that meal. Quickly being able to switch to a regular terminal point of sale. The meal's already there, ready to be rang up, and they can be rang up on paid for quickly by cash or by credit card there. And then having the flexibility, really the strength of flexibility, is maybe at a different time of day or a different schedule. This is, instead of being a terminal or in board mode, Maybe it's a kiosk and it's a self-ordering kiosk where the students are going to be able to log in and place their order for what they're wanting to order at the kiosk. So having those different software flexibilities to be able to order those different things and in those different ways really shows a lot of flexibility and speed for your different students there. And you can see as those items get ordered, it's just a self-checkout. They're able to check out, able to put in their name, take a telephone number if we want to notify them that their order's ready, and being able to have their different payments go through. Like I said, they would just swipe their student card and be able to have that deplete from their funds. Any questions on any of the products or software solutions that I've gone over at this time?
Thanks, David. Get the next slide, David. There you go.
Should be there.
I'm waiting patiently for you. So obviously David talked about a lot of different things here. So we just wanted to kind of wrap up the conversation here in the last few minutes, talk about a couple of the case studies. And so, as you remember at the beginning of the conversation, we talked about, the consultative approach, looking at the campus holistically, how does things flow, listening, feedback, and so forth. So University of North Texas, large self-op campus based in Denton, Texas, 30,000 plus students there. Theirs was flow, right? How do we flow? How do we get things moving through the process? And so we spent a lot of time on campus watching the students, watching them move, watching them up the stairs, going to different brands. They've got various national brands and that also throws a little bit of a change in how you look at things as well, based on, are you required to use their point of sale? Can you use the point of sale from another company, and so forth. So those are some of the things we did there. And hardware placement for these guys was very important. So as David talked, and you saw the screens and lots of different options of hardware, we were able to take certain pieces of our hardware and actually disassemble it. The installers were hating life, but by taking apart, uncoupling printers and screens from each other, we were able to manipulate those in certain places in a couple of their locations that allowed them to be more user friendly, as David talked about, in terms of sending the text messages back to the employee, the students when the food is ready, and so forth. So that hardware piece, while if you've noticed the trends, hardware is not going away. If you've been to a Home Depot or some other places lately, they're taking away the self-service and they go back to the customer facing, right? So the hardware is going to stay. Self-service may go away, but the hardware is going to stay. And I think that's what these guys wanted to do, is make sure that we had the right piece there. And then for these guys also, reporting was very key. And I got to believe that reporting is probably 1A or 1B on everybody's list, because that's how you run your business at some points, right? You can have a gut feeling, but metrics and numbers don't lie. If you're selling 8,000 cheeseburgers in the course of a month, that's a good seller, right? Versus, I think it's a good seller. No, the facts are there. And so reporting was very important to these guys. So in terms of having information come from all these other brands, because they had, like I said, they had about 6 other national brands, that they had to make sure that all that reporting incorporated into one report was very important to them. And then the next one on here, University of Houston. Once again, this was a new partnership with one of our campus card provider, and then the point of sale that we used for this one. This one was interesting. It's multiple campuses, 4 campuses spread across 2+ hours away from each other in Houston. So if you've been to Houston, you live in Houston, you understand Houston. I think it's 3rd or 4th largest city in the United States. So a lot of driving, a lot of manipulation of getting product to different parts of the city there. And just a fun fact here is these guys wanted it installed over spring break, which we pushed back as hard as we could and politely, but we did it. We were able to go in. We put a full court press and a lot of people going down there. We installed 4 campuses in various parts of the city over spring break, which was fantastic to see it all come together. But it was a long, stressful week for all of us. But once again, national brands very, very important. These guys was new construction. They're building, and I assume there's probably people on this phone that are building out new facilities. The all you care to eat food courts are becoming a lot more popular as we move forward. The frictionless, the walk in, walk out from Amazon technology, things like that. Those are obviously all becoming very important within the industry. And so it's important to understand not what today looks like, but what does the next 5 years look like? Because there's a lot of things that can happen in terms of how that technology is going to grow and move. I mean, at the end of the day, the customer service piece is not going to go away. And we all know that. You're always going to hopefully see a smiling face at a terminal, cash register, wherever you're at. It doesn't matter where you're going, but that's not going to go away. So how do you make sure that you keep that momentum going there when you're looking at future construction, but also how does that technology roll with that? And then, like I said, the last piece here, there was a very stressful, quick install. It's gone very well, and they've actually added a new building, a new food court there at the main campus for University of Houston. That's going well as well. So I wanted to highlight a couple of these case studies to kind of emphasize, kind of wrap this up a little bit to say, when you look at the projects and what you're looking to do, there's a lot of different questions, a lot of different conversations that need to happen in terms of not just, who's the cheapest, right? Because sometimes we all race to the bottom on price, right? But who can provide that well-rounded, best of breed the components that help you out. And when it comes to the one card point of sale cards, you get your doors as well. The key access is very important, I know, to from a safety and standpoint. So there's a lot of different components to look to as you move through this process. So I think with that, I think we've had a few questions. I will ask, I guess I can ask again, if anyone wants to vocalize a question, that'd be great, or we can type some in. But I think we're getting close on time. So, but this has been great. We really appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk through kind of, what we look for. I think we're probably no different than other, providers out there. It's a consultative approach. It's how you manage the system. It's how you walk in. But there's a lot of questions that have to be asked, because this is a big decision when it comes to, how do you tie that retail, that dining, and that one card together to make sure all the pieces and parts within your operation work well. So with that, thank you from me. David, any last words?
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
All right.
Nice, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Really good information, pretty comprehensive, I think, in terms of understanding what options are available when you're considering point of sale solutions. Let me just share a little bit of details about some upcoming in-person events. There's still time to register for the NACU 2024 annual conference, which is going to be held April 14th to the 17th in Covington, Kentucky, which is right across the river from Cincinnati. When you register for the conference, be sure to consider registering your staff for both the Industry Essentials Institute and the campus tour that's happening at Xavier University on the Thursday after the conference. And then we've also got registration now open for the NACU Data Summit. That's going to take place June 4th and 5th at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. We know that card offices capture an incredible amount of data. I mean, Jamie and David's presentation touched on that today. And so through the ID card and the mobile credential, we want to be able to allow institutions to better leverage that data for their campus. So we're training our members on how to create automated dashboards that can be shared with upper administration, which can then impact institutional decision making. So again, that event is going to be on June 4th and 5th in Charlotte at UNC Charlotte, and you can register for that on our website right now. You just go to www.nacu.org/events. All our events that are scheduled here coming up are listed on there. Special thanks to our presenters, Jamie Hodgson and David Bain from Agilysys. I'm John Ogle with NACU. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.